All right, I guess we're ready, huh? You on?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome to the December 20th meeting of the Fall River Sewer Commission. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Having said all that, Paul, would you just do the roll call, please?
Yep, President Almeida,
Here.
Member House,
Here.
Member Souza. Excuse me, yeah, Member Souza has said he's not going to be present, and Member Howiak.
Here.
And just, we did last meeting, Member Bernier was, but he submitted his resignation.
You did?
To be on the sewer
Okay,
commission.
that's too bad.
Yeah,
Ron's been with us for a long time.
without a doubt.
Yeah. Okay, that takes us to the agenda that was presented to us. The first item on the agenda is the citizen input. Is there any
Have not
call for it?
Have
No?
not received any notice here.
Okay, minutes of the previous meeting held on June 15th, 2023. For my benefit, the only way that can get approved is if the commissioners were present tonight that were on that meeting on the 15th,
Yeah, that was a discussion that we've had in the past.
right? So,
I think we can approve.
Scott
for
was there.
form. Minutes, you mean?
yeah,
I think, yeah, that was an issue I had looked at before, and we can still approve it even if we weren't on there.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's good to know.
Because you got a majority of, because it's a majority of two of us that at least were on those
Yeah,
minutes.
Scott and I were there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can at least approve it on that basis,
Yeah.
yeah, right? Okay. Minutes of the previous meeting held on June 15th. If you have any problems with it, and you want to make any changes, bring it up right now. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting held on June 15th.
I want to make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll
June
second.
8th.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
15th, I'm sorry.
Thank you. All right, takes us to Daniel O'Connell and Sons, contract number 2, college processing upgrade change order, $270,274.56. I believe we had one of these in the June 15th meeting, correct?
That is correct,
Okay.
yes.
You have any problems with these, Paul?
No, I've been through them. They're all things that, again, on a project this size, there's going to be things that may not, might be missed, or altercations that occur, difference of size of certain product compared to what was done in the design to what's actually available during the construction. So through this, there's nothing that's wildly outlandish in there. So.
Okay. I think the one back in June was about, what, 240? Something like that?
Correct.
Okay. So we're looking at a project that on paper, when it's done, is going to be somewhere close to around 70 million.
Between
1 and 2.
contract 1
Correct,
and 2,
okay.
yes. Yeah.
So, just for my benefit, this is the 4th change order. The 3rd one was, like I said, 240, so that makes approximately 510. I can't remember what the first 2 were, do you? Roughly,
Total that combined, they were in the 240, 260 range.
each one of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
No, total.
all total.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you look at the first page here, previous approved change order amounts, $504,688.
Okay, all right, so does that include the change order 4? No.
That does not. The next line item shows change order for an amount of $270,000.
All right, okay, so What'd you say,
504.
504 plus 270? Okay, so we're looking at almost 780. 780, and we're looking at $70 million. When are we figuring this project to be completed?
So this project right now on paper, there has not been any time extensions requested or granted, but it is a June 30th completion date as per contract.
Right.
Right now, the contract is schedule is showing them somewhere in the 160 days behind schedule, which I think they're going to have a tough time making that up. But we've been asking them for impact analysis and as well as a recovery plan to see where they will land. Again, there has not been anything approved by the commission or administratively for an extension, so that'll be something that we have coming up in the future for discussion.
This has been going on for 4 years. Am I correct? Roughly between 1 and 2.
Between 1 and 2 or for
Do you think?
a little over 4
Do you
years.
think any of the delay could have been a result of COVID?
On this project, they did have some supply chain issues with some pieces of equipment that were critical path. So those did not come in time. Larger pieces of equipment, VFDs and things like that did affect their critical path and push them behind.
Okay. It seems like it's going to be a nip and tuck situation coming up. But we'll have to deal with it once everything starts settling out. But okay.
When do you think they would address that they're not going to be done in June? Because that's basically 7 months from now. 6
Yeah,
months, yeah.
so at this point, I've told them that I'm not going to approve any future pay recs without a recovery plan in place. So I expect that they'll be getting something to us very soon, because we've gotten to that point where we need to see what their plan is.
Will there be a change order for a time change, or?
Again, that there has not been a request submitted to us formally for a time extension, and there has not been any approval. If there is one, that would have to be looked at based on the merits of what's submitted. As of right now, if they go back past contract completion date, we do have liquidated damages and other things built into the contract.
On our end.
Correct.
And just one more question. Does Fall River have a certain percentage on their change orders that can't exceed the total amount, a certain percentage of that total amount that they can't exceed?
So
I think
as
we talked about that before.
Yeah, so this is a Chapter 149 contract underneath Mass General Law. That's how it's bid and procured. I believe the max that you can do underneath 149 for non-unforeseen conditions is 25%. When you get into unforeseen conditions and issues, that potentially could waiver. So that's per Mass General Law that you can't go over. But I think right now the way that we're at like 1.5% for this contract, with including this change order. CDM,
they're the on-site guys.
Yep.
That are supposed to be overseeing this project as project managers and stuff like that. Have you had any discussions with them? Do they appear to be a little frustrated as to what's going on?
I have had discussions with them. So, looking at some of these change orders, potentially could have been things that could have been avoided. CDM was the design consultant for this project, develops the plans and specifications, and they are also our construction manager, resident engineer on the project as well. So I have had a couple of discussions with their administrators about the cost impacts that are coming to the city due to some conditions that I feel could have been prevented during specifications. You know, again, you get into a project this size, there's always going to be something that's overlooked or forgotten or slips through the crack. But some of these things I think are a little blatant, and I have had discussions with them about recovery from them.
Okay. Yeah, I can kind of concur with you, Terry. Paul. We got a tunnel under the city that when it was all said and done, you know, I'm sure raised some eyebrows as to what, you know, the cost ended up being and so forth. But yeah, but we got to be diligent on this particular project and hold their feet to the fire if we have to, and do what's necessary to in the best interest of the commission and the city. So you know how that works. All right. So the listing of the change orders and so forth. Am I right in assuming that CDM has gone through these?
Yeah, so CDM's gone through these, all the cost based on whether it was a time and material, based on what was submitted on that,
Okay.
or based on an estimate provided. You know, some of them are based on an estimate provided. So they have been through all of these and evaluated them line by line on each one. You know, and again, this contractor, DOC, they were also the contractor for us on the President Ave screening and disinfection project. And
You're talking about O'Connell?
yeah, Daniel O'Connell and Son. And they are a very diligent contractor in tracking RFIs, requests for informations, which occasionally sometimes turn into PCO, potential change order. So.
All right. Well, I'm sure they're trying to protect their back too, but on the same token, you know, we got to hold their feet to the fire if we feel as though,
Yeah.
you know, they're being a little bit
Oh yeah.
holding back.
Yep.
Okay. Does anybody here have any questions with regard to the description of the change orders and the amount that we got here? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve change order number 4 for $270,274.56. Do you want to make that motion?
Motion made.
Excuse me?
Motion made.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Wright Pierce, amendment to number 3, Stafford Square Infrastructure Projects, $450,000. Talk to me, Paul.
So Stafford Square is something that has plagued this city a lot longer than I've been alive. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, a lot of people have been suffering. What were the problems we have up there? That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think there's even to the point where members of my family have experienced the deluge that happens on occasions.
Yeah, the impacts.
And it's not funny, but I mean, you know, you look at it and you say, you know, what a problem that's been there for almost forever. But
Yeah.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we have pictures of that intersection flooding out from the 50s and 60s.
By the way, how'd you make out with the storm on Monday? Was it tough up that area?
To tell you the truth, this past Monday we were very lucky. A lot of the high intensity stuff stayed to the west of us. A little bit passed over on the east side, but luckily we were almost in a little.
I think as a whole, there wasn't that much damage in the city. I didn't see that.
Yeah, a lot of wind
Wind
damage. As to flooding, there was a couple of spots that about noontime, 1 o'clock, there was one period of high intensity that came through. There was some isolated areas that were affected, but it was a pretty moderate rainstorm for us. We got a total of about 2.5 inches over the pretty 8 hours or so
Yeah.
that it rained. So,
Yeah.
but it was pretty even and spread out, which makes it where our systems are able to handle that. So, knock on wood, we made out very well compared to other places.
Did the treatment plant lose power?
Nope, the treatment plant had power, didn't lose power.
Good.
We had 3 pump stations that lost power during the storm, switched over to an emergency generator and functioned as needed.
Good, that's good to hear. Okay,
So,
just, hold on, just for my edification, I'm just looking through the package here. I got a page here that says item 4, Wright Pierce Amendment, 270,000. There's another one that says 450. It's 450 though, right?
yes, 450.
Okay.
So, just I'll run through this a little bit, just a little history. So, 2020, we did our initial Stafford Square evaluation of the intersection, basic hydraulic analysis, kind of the first look at it of what a potential fix for that area could be. We looked at a lot of things through that, whether we dam the South Watuppa, put an actual functioning dam on South Watuppa to bring the Quikasham River down low, which is where it drains to, whether we do some type of pump station in that intersection, or what's the real fix over there. It was really determined that we needed to put in some large culverts, starting back almost as far as Bedford Street, to be able to get that water into a culvert system with a new outlet into the channel that leads out to the Quikasham River over next to the Health First. So that was kind of the ultimate determination on what would be the best for that area.
Is that for a quick fix or?
That's for a big fix.
A big fix.
Yeah, about $45 million was.
Yeah, I remember that number.
Yeah, broken up into three phases was the initial project that came through. Looking at different opportunities that were out there and stuff like that, this project really looks appetizing for what's called the BRIC program, which is Building Resilient Infrastructure from FEMA. So last year we were able to put together an application to FEMA for it was 32 million was the application grant that we put in. We worked with MEMA to get through the process and stuff like that. On last year we weren't awarded the grant, but the way that the grant worked, we really wanted to be able to get some of the engineering work done ahead of time prior to the grant, so that when they have a 3-year restriction on their grant programs, so we wanted to be able to move right into construction. So we put in for some ARPA funding, and this was awarded by the City Council under Bristol County ARPA funds for us. So this project.
So this doesn't go against our capital outlay?
Nope, this is not
That's
being
good.
paid by our ratepayers.
Excuse me, wait a minute.
Yeah.
When you talk about that grant, is the grant with respect to us, is it 32 million?
Yes.
So are you saying that grant has been approved for the city?
Has not been approved for the city. So last year's round of grant funding, we were not chosen. We're working with MEMA right now, actually, to strengthen the application.
Yeah.
There was an issue with so to apply for these grants, you need to have an up-to-date hazard mitigation plan. We were in the midst of doing our hazard mitigation plan last year. We got it in just before the deadline, just right around the deadline time last year. So that might have played into their determination of whether we were eligible for the grant or not. We have the fully updated hazard mitigation plan now, which is good for 5 years. I think we have a really good chance this year of potentially being awarded that grant.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, exactly. So after this 450,000 once we started with this, we put in so this takes us kind of a little bit further into the hydrology, does the surveying, does some of the financial analysis for the area and stuff like that, things that we need to be able to do the whole entire program that's needed.
How long do you
for
think this is
area.
gonna take them to do?
I figure the design's gonna be about a year and a half. So this is Amendment 3, and I expect that we'll have another amendment coming up very soon, because we were awarded $2 million from the MassWorks program to bring this design up to 100% full design. So I expect full design will take about a year and a half. Between this grant funding and this amendment, and I'm just setting up the grant right now with MassWorks, but I wanted to get this work started here. But we'll get that under contract with MassWorks, and then we'll contract with the consultant to be able to move forward. And that's going to be another full grant that does not cost our ratepayers anything. So we'll have, at the end of this grant funding that we will have a 100% fully designed, bid-ready project. I think being able to, last year when we laid out our funding strategy to FEMA in the application, it was kind of questionable. Well, we were dependent, at that time, we were dependent on hopefully getting the MassWorks grant. We were dependent on hopefully getting this other grant. Now we have those grants. I think it's going to strengthen our
Yeah,
application.
things are more finite right now.
Correct.
This is the initial, this is the initial 450 of doing the design and so forth that has to be done. Off the top of your head, how much money do you think will be expended before we're ready to construct?
So again, it'll be this 450 and roughly the 2 million. So we're probably we're probably 2.5 million in on full.
Now, does that come off the 32?
No, that's separate from the
That's good.
32.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And that's all grant money?
Yes. So the only thing that we've spent money on so far in this project was our initial evaluation, which was part of the $123 million authorization that was approved back in November 2017.
Okay.
That was in that original authorization. I believe that was $300,000 was slated for the initial conceptual evaluation of the Stafford Square area.
That's good. Boy, we've come a long way.
Yeah.
When you think about, we were talking 20, 30 years ago, right?
Yeah.
People were complaining then, well, rightly so, but that's great, Paul. That's very good.
Yeah, it's tough because everybody wants to see the problem fixed tomorrow, but and people say, oh, you do these plans, you do these studies, they sit on a shelf, but I don't know, I don't like doing things that aren't going to see a finite, conclusion, because I'm not going to waste our money doing something to sit on a shelf.
Yeah.
Do we have a list of all our open projects, like on our website or anything like that?
Not
Public to see?
Yeah, not right now. That would probably be something good. I know the city launched the new website, so we haven't really been able to dive into the full, the full capabilities of it. But that would be something
Nice to have.
something nice to have up there. Because right now, I can tell you within community utilities, we have probably about $160 million worth of construction projects ongoing right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's overseen by me and my staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting
Plus-
grants in, that's tedious.
Yeah.
There's so many, little things you gotta do to get a grant in, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a lot of time.
And then administering the
Oh,
grant, that's
yeah.
handled primarily by our staff and stuff like that. So, my staff here that we have, between in here with the project managers, project specialists, they're a great team and they're really devoted. So,
Very good. I think this is sort of a no-brainer in my respect, but unless anybody else has any questions about this, as to the validity of it or problems with it, I'll entertain a motion to approve the amendment to number 3, Stafford Square Infrastructure Project, in the amount of $450,000 to be awarded to Wright Pierce for the initial design work to start the project going. Anybody want to make that motion?
Motion made?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, people. All right, item number 5, moving along. Bisco Building Systems Corporation, they're the contractors that did Wilson Road, am I correct? All right, I went by that there today. I was impressed.
Nice little station.
I mean, when you consider what was there before with tanks sitting up on stilts and stuff like that, and you know,
A telephone
It was actually
pole.
buried, I think, before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
telephone pole that was held up by a piece
I was
of
impressed.
guide wire. Yeah.
Is there power to that thing right now?
Yeah, so there's full power to the station.
What's that placard that's there when you drive in? Looks like a placard standing up. It looks like something's going to be. Is that going to be for outdoor wiring?
On the back side of that is all the
Disconnects?
junction boxes, explosion-proof junction boxes
Okay.
for the wet well. That's right there, the pumps in the wet well.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I was impressed. But got all it needs is fencing and
Yeah.
some of that stuff.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
that going to have outdoor lighting? And
Yeah, that's going to have outdoor lighting on the building. There might be one side pole light to be able to shine into the yard, and it'll have control. It has control access like the
Security? Cam?
No security cameras. No, we
Not any of our plans have? No.
we have them down at our main plant, but we haven't gotten into the remote sites yet. Just communication back to you.
we have a guy goes through it, catch them every day anyways. don't we?
Yeah, once a day we have somebody on site to all of our 17 pump stations. That will be visited also by the second shift water treatment operator. The watchman attendant will be inspecting that on the second shift from the water department. Because that building, yeah, so that building you have the outdoor wet well just like the other 3 recent pump stations we've built, the meter pit, and then that building, so the back half of the building is all the VFDs, controls, electrical, and the generator will be housed in that. So that sewer portion of the building. The front portion of the building, the other set of double doors there, is actually a water booster pumping station.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about that when the project was awarded.
Yeah.
So it's a redundant station for what's on Commerce Drive in front of the North End Fire Station. So when that high service area was originally built and designed, this was one of the things, redundant station for that was looked at. So.
What's the next one we're going to do? Or are we done?
So we have Ferry Street right now, which is under design.
Yeah. That's right, down at the bottom there.
Yep.
It's got that dome type thing that's there.
Yeah, that's an interesting station. It's an interesting site. So we're looking at that right now to go through design.
Did we resolve the issue of, wasn't there about a problem about an easement or the land that's there, because it's kind of like tight, am I right?
Yeah, so that site is very
So
very.
we're looking to expand out?
We're looking to live within the same footprint of what's there. Which
Okay.
Again, makes it a very tight site.
Yeah.
We're in discussions with the property owner about some potential access easements just around there, so that we can walk around there. But that's again an ongoing issue. But yeah, it's a tight site and it's right on the water, so
Yeah.
naturally nobody wants to give up their property.
So that's the next one, huh?
Yeah, that'll be the next one,
All right.
and that'll be a little bit different than the ones that we've been doing just because of the site constraints.
Okay. Now, this particular project is that, from what I can recall, we had some major problems with terrain in the back and having to dig it out because of collapse. Wasn't there a line or a sewer line that really caused a lot of headaches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So within this change order, there's two PCOs, which essentially change orders. One of them has to do with just what you were discussing. So part of the original project was replacement of the sewer line that comes out of the back of the pump station and heads over towards Sykes Road. That sewer line was an asbestos concrete sewer line that has deteriorated over the years since it was installed. So we had that as part of the base contract, that whole entire line be a new one put in parallel to replace that one. So the contractor went through, they did all their work running up and through, installing the new sewer line. So they had the new sewer line manhole that ended up next to Sykes Road, Current Road, excuse me. They had it next to Current Road. Then they had their last manhole set over behind the pump station, when the old pump station was working and stuff like that. Our staff one day gets a call of an overflow on a manhole, an SSO occurring. They go up there, and part of the old pipe had collapsed. So it was, we were lucky in a sense where we had the project ongoing. We had a brand new sewer line. We've had 3 or 4 collapses on that same asbestos line upstream from there. So we know the condition of that line.
In the past?
Yeah. The some of the industries up there definitely, took a beat into that concrete asbestos line.
Okay.
We were able to set up, we worked with the contractor, it was an emergency situation. We worked with the contractor to just totally abandon that existing line at that time. We set up temporary bypass. It was a pretty elaborate system because we had to grab it from one side of Current Road, cross Current Road, but then there was still truck traffic that had to occur, so we had to...
Approximately how many feet did you guys have to remove? You took the old line out?
We just disconnected it and went into the new line.
Okay.
So we didn't even bother replacing that old line or digging down to try to repair the break, because I know how that line is. You touch it here and you're going to be chasing it to try to get a good piece of pipe, and you could end up all the way at the next manhole. So the decision was made at that time that we were just going to, since the new line was already fully in and ready to be put in service, we made the determination that we were going to switch from the old line to the new line. We did that, but then when we got to the pump station on the backside, it went to a dead-ended manhole, so we had to set up temporary pumps within that manhole to actually pump into our old pump station. It was, I think, at that time the best, most cost-effective and best outcome that we could have had, even though it did develop a change order. There was reduction in the overall change order because the contract had some cost for cutover anyways, and some different things.
So do you think this is going to be the final?
On this whole entire project, there may be some small things that come in, but I don't see anything. I don't see anything large. So that's one portion of this change order. The other portion of this change order was another emergency that we had up over by the landfill. Again, we had an asbestos concrete pipe, which that pipe that parallels Mother's Brook from Innovation Way comes down through the center of the landfill. We've had multiple collapses on that pipe. If you remember, probably 5 years ago, we had a collapse. Contractor ended up coming in and replaced probably about 1,000 feet of that line.
Would you put in concrete pipe?
We're putting in plastic, just because of the availability of it. So SDR 35 standard plastic sewer line.
What's the diameter of that line, roughly?
So we've upsized that as we replaced it, because Mother's Brook sewer is going to be upsized potentially in the future. We're under design of that project now. So the line that we replaced, it was a 12-inch asbestos concrete. We put in a 24, so that we wouldn't have to redig up that section later. So we were able to utilize this contractor, Bisco, to be able to go over there, make the repair for that line that broke over by BFI. But it was the area in between Meditech and Innovation Way, which was fully wooded and everything like that. So it involved a lot of we had to get a tree clearing company in there before we could even get equipment in to start working.
You have to go through wetlands or anything?
We were working on the side of Mother's Brook. Mother's Brook wasn't affected, but wetlands wasn't.
Good. So, who's the consultant on that? Was it Wright Pierce?
So on this project, it's right place, yeah.
Okay. All right, so we got 2 change orders, both for Bisco. Am I correct?
Yep.
All right. You want to handle the approval on these separately, or?
It could be done as one, because 2 and 3, but they're combined as change order number 2 to the contract.
Okay, is that what it is? Change order number 2?
Yep.
Change number 2. All right, and we're looking at a well, if we're going to do it all in total, it's like 488,000. 488,000, roughly 14, 16, 17, 15. About 489, 574, something like that.
488, 965, 60, sorry.
Just have a question. We say we're almost done, and there might be a possible one more change or 2.
Yeah, so as we come to just the conclusion of the project, so as we said, the pump station's fully started now, and we've started up the sewer side, we've started up the water side. One issue that we have right now, if you drove by there, you saw there was a temporary generator sitting outside.
Yeah, outside, yeah.
The generator was ordered, originally it was given an 18-month lead time. Our delivery date has been pushed 3 times. So as we come to the conclusion of the project, just cleaning up little stuff, there may be some potential
And
things
that generator's for emergency power, not
Correct.
power. So that's being powered by the grid right now.
Yeah.
So my question is, what is the balance after this change here, 488, 965, what is the balance to finish? Do we have that in this packet? Or how close are we in monetary to finish?
I'm not sure off the top of my head where we are at this project, but I would say that we're probably
We're at 95% close?
probably 90% at it. We haven't released retainage or anything on the project, so retainage on a project this size is pretty substantial, probably $500,000. So, yeah, I would say we're probably about 90% paid out on this project.
Well, from what I can remember, I think we initially started at what, $3.5 million on this?
For the sewer commission portion of it, yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
about $3.5 million.
Yep.
Okay, would you say the number was, Terry? I mean, I'm sorry, Paul.
That's okay. 488, 965,
Okay.
60.
All right. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve change order number 2, consisting of 2 change orders, one for the Commerce Drive emergency cutover, and the replacement of the collapsed sewer main, which came to a total amount of $488,965.60. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion for change order number 2 for $488,965.60.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Jim. All right, takes us to item number 6, CDM amendment number 1 for the Birch Street sewer separation time extension.
So this is almost a more of an administrative type change order. I just wanted to bring it to the board, though. It's a time extension and a little bit of an alteration of scope. So Birch Street has been moving forward.
Who initiated it, Terry? Us or them?
This was something that was asked for by me.
Okay.
Yep. So the plan for Birch Street originally was for it to be part of the $123 million authorization and do it within the 5 years, by the end of 2024. Within our discussions with CLF and EPA, work that we're doing in the Route 79, which was not part of that consent order or administrative order, we were able to swap the construction of the Route 79 work, since it's a lot of sewer separation work that we're doing down there, in place for the construction of the Birch Street, but we were still designing out Birch Street. So there was a portion of funding that that was left, that was part of the bidding phase of this contract. So we're looking to take and shift that for some assistance that we're going to be needing here coming up. So recently we were contacted by EPA in relation to them issuing this NIFTY's permit, which is something that's been talked with this commission for a long time. So, naturally, as we go through evaluation of EPA's findings and any potential permit that they may be looking to issue us, there's going to be technical evaluation needed and stuff like that. So I'd like to take this funding, switch it from the bidding phase, which will not occur for the Birch Street project, and switch that to administrative assistance for us and extend the time frame out for that expenditure.
Did you say that the initial phases of this was part of the 123 million? Was?
Yeah, so it was actually full to construct Birch Street as well.
Yeah.
It was slated as I believe $14 million in the 123.
So that 14 million is being shifted to 79?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and for all that work at 79, we were able to secure mostly grant funding, so it's not, we don't have to borrow.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about this? If
So the
not,
people that live on Birch Street, is this an issue for them?
No.
This is kind of like their,
Yeah, it's not necessarily a flooding issue that occurs on Birch Street. It's more of this whole entire project is to reduce the CSO activation. So again, it was a sewer separation project. So pretty much all the catch basins now within that catchment area, which goes pretty much from South Main Street all the way down to the river, and extends almost up to Bowen Street and a couple of streets to the north. All that goes into the combined system right now, goes into the CSO chamber, Birchett Bay, and either goes down the overflow pipe and goes into the interceptor. And once that becomes too full, goes out the CSO. So they're looking, this project is designed to reduce that CSO discharge to less than 3 times per year, less than 4 times per year, the 3-month storm.
Yeah. I remember we've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, this was one of the projects, but yeah, again, it's not like a Stafford Square where it impacts a lot of residents. It's more of this separation project is a environmental benefit.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve amendment number 1 to the Birch Street Sewer Separation Time Extension Project.
motion made?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Takes us to other business. I have just a couple of things with respect to that, Terry. Paul. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We set up a contract with Stan Tech Consultants last time.
Yep.
How's that going for you? That was supposed to alleviate some of the pressure for you when
Yeah.
using them as a source to, and so forth. Have you had any occasions to use them yet?
I haven't. So there was one occasion where I did use them. So Mass DOT Rail installed a culvert for us down on Collins Street.
Yeah.
So Collins Street, Steep Brook, as it comes down, has always been a flooding issue for years. They had an issue down there with their project where they drove their sheet piles through our existing culvert. I fought with them, and they installed a full new culvert going underneath the rail track and stuff like that. I wanted to have a representative of ours there to inspect, make sure the work's done correctly, because essentially we're gonna have to maintain it in the future. So I did use them sparingly for that project, inspectional services down there. Other than that, I haven't really, again, contracts like that, they're good for emergency situations
Yeah,
or problems
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
but other than that, I use them very sparingly.
Well,
I try to be frugal with them.
I understand, and I appreciate the fact that you do that, but on the same token, you get a lot on your plate, so, don't hesitate to try and alleviate some of the pressure. Second thing, the industrial pretreatment program was being taken over by most of it was being taken over by the plant. How's that going?
So we took and we had the IPP program. We were training somebody at the plant. It was a supervisor / IPP coordinator.
Yeah.
50%. Yeah, exactly. On the FTEs. They did have a supervisor that was doing the program. She just recently left. So.
Okay. So
Yeah, it's still a work in progress.
Constant profit, yeah. Okay, that's it for me. Anybody have any other items?
So just under business, a couple of things that just want to say again. Member Bernier, he was on the board for years and helped this board out a lot throughout the years. He did put in his resignation just due to Ron Bernier.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Member Bernier. Again, it was just due to other commitments that he has in his life. If we wanted, we could draft a letter from the board to
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
thank him for
Ron's
his years of
been around.
service.
Well, not as much as me. I don't think as much as Renee, but
Yeah.
I think that would be a good idea. Send it from the commission, appreciation of his time spent with us and his service and so forth and so on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
Ron's
just
a good guy.
Yeah, without a doubt. Just a couple other things. So as of this past Monday, so June 30th, 2024, ends our O&M contract with Veolia. Monday I just released the IFB for potential procurement of services for a 10-year contract O&M contractor. So there's been a number of companies that have already requested the IFB, and we'll go through that process.
Are we going for an RFQ?
It's an IFB invitation for bid. So since it's a hot bid item,
Okay.
that's how we've done it in the past, and that's how.
I wasn't sure when I know I was here when the whole thing started with Veolia and everybody else before them, but I don't think we went out for RFQs even then, did we? We're looking for requests for qualifications.
Right, request for qualification. Yeah, as long as so last time it was done 10 years ago in 2014, it was through the IFB process.
Okay.
Which they, once a request for qualifications, there's RFQ, and RFI was if we were just trying to get interested parties, see who was interested in it, and then there's the IFB process. In the past, we've used the IFB process, and that's how we've.
So we're anticipating going up.
Yep. So it was available to any bidders as of Monday, and the due date for the bid, unless we extend it out, is January 18th. So that will be interesting to see where it falls.
This is going to be very interesting. I mean, when you think about it, Veolia, they've been with us, 10, 15 years?
20 years.
20 years.
Two contracts?
2 contracts.
Yeah. So, and it's going to be very interesting. For the benefit of the other commissioners, I just want to throw this out. You may expect getting phone calls from companies that want to, bid and so forth and so on, and part of their game plan is always to try to influence you know, all the parties that are gonna be involved in approving the contract and so forth and so on. It's just something I wanna throw out to you that, this is, you know, if it happens, it's usually part of the game that takes place. But my perspective on that is it all should be funneled right to the staff.
Yep.
And because in the final analysis, that's, you know, we gotta rely on the staff as to who's the best, what's the best price, what are the conditions, and so forth and so on. And who knows, maybe all of us or one of us could be a part of that decision as well and so forth. So it's going to be quite interesting in this go around.
Is Viola reapplying?
They have already pulled the IFP, so they are interested with a number of other parties. So I really do expect some good competition. You know, in 2014 when it was issued, Veolia was the sole bidder at that time. But you know, there has been in the industry there has been some chatter about us coming out with this. So I do expect a fair amount of competition.
It's going to be a busy
Okay.
time.
Good for us, right?
I can
Yeah,
re-
no,
I-
competition makes it good for us.
I can remember 15 years ago when the inertial contract was signed and everything else. And that meeting was held down in the council chambers in the lower area. And the room was packed.
Really.
It was John Capone, myself, I think Paul Souza, and I don't think Ernie Souza was on it at that time. I think he had already went off. And from my end of it, it was a pretty heated discussion. And but you know, like anything else, you get through it.
Yeah.
And but I think we got a good group, and I think we can control anything that comes our way.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, again, it's an open public
Yeah.
bid process. You know, and I'm hoping for good competition and that we're able to get the best contractor suited for us. You know, our plant has gone through a lot of changes in the past 10 years. You know, 10 years ago we had an incinerator that we were operating. 10 years ago
We had filter presses back there about 35 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you know, we had it was pre-COVID, pre-supply chain issues. So a lot of things have changed, not only in the industry but also at our facility. We have new buildings out of there, some updated facilities that will potentially attract some bidders that may not have done that because of the age of our equipment in the past. So.
Good. Anybody else have any other items? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody. Wish everybody a happy holiday season.